Last week, we brought you poker's greatest victory.
Oh my God!
With sports' biggest payday. Jamie Gold took home $12 million and the most coveted prize in poker, but there is still so much poker to be played and 41 more bracelets to be won.
If it wasn't for the bracelets, I wouldn't be playing.
Bracelets worth everything. This is the holy grail. This is what people want.
It's like a Super Bowl ring. You're a world champ.
Once you win a bracelet, it goes down in the record books, and nothing could ever take that away from you.
It is all about the bracelet.
I've been waiting for this. Finally.
Your measure as a poker player is defined by how many you have and in what events they were in.
Johnny Chan is #1 in World Series history. It's what makes a legend. There it is! Doyle's done it! It's the one true measure of poker greatness. The quest for poker's most coveted prize. The battle for the bracelets begins now. Welcome once again to the World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. The Rio Poker Room at the start of this tournament was once again filled to capacity with amateurs and pros alike who came out in record numbers trying to capture the elusive bracelet. Some were looking for their first. Others, like 5-time winner Phil Ivey, 6-time winner TJ Cloutier, and 7-time winner Eric Seidel were looking to add to their impressive cash. And then there's Phil Hellmuth, hoping to join Johnny Chan and Doyle Brunson in the 10 Bracelet Club. But their quest for the bracelet will have to wait for now because tonight, 9 others remain to challenge for this $1,500 no-limit championship, $750,000 in cash, and the coveted gold bracelet.
Hello everybody, I'm Lon McCarron, he's Norman Chad. The bracelet events kicked off with what may seem to be a pedestrian field of 2,776, but don't be fooled. Outside the main event, this is the largest starting field in poker history.
These huge tournaments feel more and more like amateur hour, but the game's best still managed to rise in bracelet events. And at this final table, the game's best is represented by Carlos Mortensen. Mortensen, looking for his 3rd World Series bracelet, was the last pro to win the main event in 2001.
Carlos Mortensen is in quest of his 3rd World Series bracelet. This 34-year-old won a limit hold'em event in 2003. Brent Roberts turned 21 years old less than a month ago, could become the youngest World Series bracelet winner in history.
There's our chip leader, Brandon Cantu, a 25-year-old retired skycap. Skycapping, Lon, is a young man's game.
Well, besides 8th place Carlos Mortensen, 2 other seasoned pros at this final table. In 7th place, Ron Stanley, and in 4th place, Don Zewin. Drew Rubin is the short stack, action underway. Brent Roberts on the Milwaukee's Best Like pocket cam. Queen 3 go into the muck. On to Carlos Mortensen, ace queen of hearts.
Carlos says he used to be much more aggressive, but with these big fields, he's learned to sit and wait.
Well, he's not going to wait now. He's going to push all in with his final 254,000 chips.
Carlos deciding he can't wait any longer for others to make a mistake. He's plunging ahead.
Everyone except this guy, Drew Rubin, has Mortensen covered. This is a 38-year-old amateur player from Hollywood, Florida. He is a clinical psychologist. Dr. Drew has pocket jacks.
Dr. Drew wears a baseball cap forward and one backward at the same time, so he's got himself covered. Mortensen is an elite player, but when you push in with ace-queen, you don't want anybody to call.
I call.
But Dr. Drew does make the call. 2 other players to act behind. Don Zewin folds. Lee Padilla could put them both at risk if he plays, but he will fold. So it will be Mortensen and Rubin going to the flop. Rubin all in. His cheering section includes his mother-in-law Sally on the left and her sister Joy on the right.
His mother-in-law, that can't be good luck.
So Rubin's jacks leads Mortensen's ace-queen. To the flop we go. 8, 9, 6, no hearts. Pretty bleak for Mortensen.
Rubin is all in, but Mortensen is in for most of his chips. His mother-in-law, huh?
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
All right, so Rubin's good through the flop. Mortensen in danger of losing a lot of chips.
Let's go, amigo.
That's poker pro Eric Lindgren in the back right, part of Carlos Mortensen's cheering section. Carlos needs help on the turn. And he does get some help. The 7 puts a straight draw on the board.
Well, now if a 5 came on the river, we'd have a 9-high straight on the board, and they would split the pot. Otherwise, Mortensen needs an ace or a queen to knock out Rubin.
Now the river card. It's a deuce, and Drew Rubin survives. His cheering section loves that. He doubles up through Carlos Mortensen. Mortensen in trouble right now, left with just 67,000 chips. And Drew Rubin jumped from the bottom of the pack to the middle. He now has 431,000.
Carlos came to the U.S. in 1997 looking to conquer new territory. When he was in Spain, he bled all the money out of every game he played.
Carlos was actually in very good shape late in this tournament with about 22 players, well over 600,000 chips. But he says a key mistake lost him half his stack, and now he's lost most of his chips in that last hand. So Carlos Mortensen, the 2001 main event champ, needs to get back on track. He's got pocket fours. And Carlos is going to move all in.
I know the pros now measure themselves on the amount of bracelets they win, but it's really no easy task. We're still talking 2,700 players, a lot of potholes you've got to avoid.
There is Mark Lee, a 31-year-old cash game player from Los Angeles with Queen 9. Mark is one of 6 World Series rookies at this final table, and he is going to make the call of Mortensen's all in. So the 2001 main event champ putting his tournament life on the line with a small pocket pair.
Good luck, Carlos.
About me.
Mark. Good luck, Mark.
Mortensen needs to avoid bad luck here. He's ahead and all in.
Here's our flop. King 10-5. Mortensen's fours are still best, but Lee's got a straight draw.
Mortensen just lost a race to Rubin. If he loses another race here, he is gone from this tournament.
So the 2001 main event champ Carlos Mortensen had high hopes of winning his 3rd bracelet tonight, and now he's just looking to hang on. Now the turn card is a queen, and Lee takes the lead with a pair of queens.
Mortensen sees the grim news, and now the 2001 world champ will need a 4 or he is out.
And now the river card. It is a 7, and that's going to do it for Carlos Mortensen. He is gone.
Bang, bang, and Carlos is gone in a heartbeat.
Mortensen will take 9th place and almost $72,000, but I'm sure he's disappointed in his performance tonight.
Drew Rubin took most of Carlos Mortensen's chips, then Mark Lee took the rest of them.
So a good boost to the chances for Mark Lee, but Carlos Mortensen will make his way to the rail.
That's why there's so many more events left this year.
He was a favorite tonight, but Carlos will have to wait for his 3rd bracelet.
The 2006 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and in part by Harrah's Entertainment, home of the world's richest poker tournament, and ParadisePoker.net, home of the free $1 Million Poker Tournament. The World Series of Poker Tournament Summary.
The World Series is where the record book of poker is written. It's where amazing accomplishments.
Eric Froelich is the youngest bracelet winner ever.
Meet improbable runs.
Mark Safe does it, winning back-to-back.
And where the milestones of the game are set.
10 bracelets for Doyle Brunson.
And it's also where one player separates himself from the rest of the field by becoming the World Series Player of the Year.
You have to be a player that can play all the games, play them all well, and do well for an entire month.
My turn.
In 2004, Daniel Negreanu bet, bluffed, and talked his way to becoming Player of the Year.
Yes!
Player of the Year is, I think, more meaningful than any single tournament.
In 2005, Alan Cunningham won a bracelet and over $1 million to propel himself to the title.
Shovel up and deal.
Who will be the most consistent?
I call.
Who will be the best? Who will be the 2006 World Series of Poker Player of the Year?
Can't wait.
In 2006, the Player of the Year will be determined by the amount of money won during the bracelet events. The first man to 50 cashes at the World Series is playing in another Hold'em event on the outer tables, Phil Hellmuth.
Negreanu mentioned you have to be able to play all the games, but this year, 3/4 of the events are no limit Hold'em, so if you play only that well, you can win the Player of the Year. You got to like Phil Hellmuth's chances.
Back to our final table, history beckoning Brent Roberts. He could be the youngest bracelet winner ever.
Sucks we had to lose a world champion at our table.
You really meant that?
Well, 2 men at this final table had a shot at that main event championship. Ron Stanley finished 4th in 1997 to Stu Unger. And Don Zewin, who finished 3rd in 1989, the year Phil Hellmuth won it, and Johnny Chan was runner-up. Back to action, Lee folds and Mark Swartz folds.
Mark's the only naked player at this table. No hat, no shades. It's all about headgear and eye gear these days, Lon.
Chip leader Brandon Cantu with Jack 10 offsuit. Just moved to Vegas.
40.
He's going to raise it up to 40,000. He came from Vancouver, Washington.
Well, when you only double the big blind as he has, you're inviting the big blind to come in. It's like half-price admission to the show.
Drew Rubin is the big blind.
Call.
With a queen 10, he'll make the call, only 20,000 more. So these two will go to the flop. Rubin with the lead with his queen, and a pair of queens for Rubin. He gets a tighter grip on this hand, but Cantu got a gut shot straight draw.
But see what happens when you let people in with a discount coupon? They take advantage of it, and now you can bet.
Rubin will bet 60,000.
Well, let's make it 180.
Cantu's going to triple that now to 180,000.
That must be some type of surcharge I didn't expect.
Oh, Rubin now perplexed.
Yeah, Cantu quite bold there, and now Rubin is swallowing hard with his pair of queens.
I think I'm laying down the best hand here.
Rubin's talking about folding, and he does indeed. Brandon Cantu muscles him out.
You weren't laying the best hand down. Said you weren't laying the best hand down.
That's what I figured. You had 3 aces and nothing.
Well, Brandon's working very hard to sell his bluff. He worked very hard to earn the chip lead at this final table, but this 25-year-old who claims to be retired does not really work hard at anything else.
I just don't really do much. I usually wake up at about 5 p.m., maybe 6 p.m., go out, play cards for a few hours, go out drinking, go out to the bar with my friends, then go back to bed. That's about it. I'm really lazy, like you'll never catch me do anything. Oh, you got a call. Pot odds. It's kind of a funny thing. I've never read a book in my life. Not just a poker book, I've never even read a book in my life. Not even in high school have I ever read a book. Nice hand. I was a big online player, and then I kind of got bored. Like I'd sit in my underwear for 12 hours a day and just play online poker and watch sports on TV, and I kind of thought there might be more to life, like at least some social interaction. Good game, sir. It just seemed more fun to play at the tables. I'm motivated, I'm just very lazy.
When Cantu was working as a sky cap in Portland, Oregon, he once handled Annie Duke's bags, and he says Annie stiffed him on the tip.
All right, we continue action at this final table inside this very busy Rio poker room. Action on Mark Swartz, a 31-year-old amateur player from Phoenix, also a World Series rookie. Offsuit King Jack. He's got a lot of chips to play with, and he's going to put 75,000 of them into the pot. Now our chip leader Brandon Cantu with pocket tens.
I know you're itching to, Brandon.
250.
Oh, Brandon's going to re-raise to 250,000.
Brandon is aggressive, and this time he's got cards to be aggressive with.
Action at this table folds back around to Swartz.
Oh, Brandon. I got a hand.
Well, it's something approaching a hand. I don't know if it's a hand.
I'm all in.
Wow. Swartz is going to push with everything.
Boy, that surprises me.
And a re-raise back to the chip leader,
who puts his thinking cap on. Now it becomes a tough call for Cantu.
Call.
And he does make the call. So, wow, a big confrontation between two of the top stacks.
How could you put me in with King Jack right there?
How could you call with 10?
Of course I'm calling.
Nice hand, man. Whatever happened.
Mark Swartz.
How could you make that play? I don't want to get into it.
Oh, Brandon should leave Mark be.
More Brandon.
Brandon supporters recognize what a critical moment this is.
Such a bad play. Such a bad play.
You could have folded.
You know, maybe Annie Duke stiffed Brandon because he criticized her poker play.
All right, here's our flop. Couple of aces and a 6. Brandon still leads. Swartz fails to catch anything in that flop.
And he appears that he's going to pay the price for that loose all-in with King Jack offsuit.
Turn card is a 3. Nothing there for Swartz. 1 card left.
Well, Mark seems to be at peace. Brandon seems to have some civil unrest going on.
One time.
Swartz will need a king or a jack, or he is out of here.
River's a deuce. And Cantu will take the hand, and the rest of the table better worry. Our chip leader just got a lot stronger. As Mark Swartz is eliminated in 8th place, takes home almost $89,000. And Brandon Cantu backed up his smack talk by taking out Swartz, and the youngster is now over 1.6 million chips. If he keeps this up, he may never have to come out of retirement.
Gonna put his tournament life on King Jack? That was nuts.
The World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Back inside the Rio, the two most seasoned pros at this final table are all in. Ron Stanley has an ace-9 of clubs. He pushed first. And then Don Zewin went all in with pocket eights. That's the best hand right now. They're both covered by Lee Padilla holding ace-jack of spades and a flush draw.
You look like you're in the hand. Relax,
I know,
relax.
I feel like I'm in the hand.
Relax.
This is intense.
We're about to see the turn card.
Well, Stanley's not about to see the turn card. I'm surprised Padilla would call here with two players all in front of him, but he has picked up a spade draw.
And it's a jack on the turn! Padilla vaults into the lead with a pair of jacks.
And that eliminates Ron Stanley. He's now drawing dead.
Don Zewin has just 2 outs.
Oh, 8!
Zewin would need one of the 2 8s left in the deck, or Padilla has himself a 2-for-1 knockout special.
River card is a 7! Padilla winds up with a spade flush and does score the double knockout. Ron Stanley finishes in 7th. Zewin started the hand with more chips than Stanley, so he will finish in 6th place.
Padilla with a loose play there, but he ends up knocking out the two most seasoned players at the table.
He does indeed, padding his chip stack with about 400,000 new arrivals.
How do you call that with ace-jack?
Don't criticize my game because I haven't criticized the game the whole time.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that's a really hard call.
I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. Play your game, I'll play mine.
Okay.
Brandon's got an impressive stack, but it's starting to become clear to me why he sits in his underwear all day talking to no one.
Well, as for Lee Padilla, he plays it his way all the time, whether it's at the poker table or just everyday life.
My name is Lee Padilla, farmer, and Mr. Mom. My wife and I decided to adopt children, and my wife, being a physician, obviously don't have the time to be the mom she could be. So I took the role to go ahead and take care of the kids. My daughter was moved to 4 different homes before she was entered into our home, and she came with a lot of problems. I told myself, if I give her back, or if I say I give up on her, there's not going to be anybody else that's going to be able to really do it. So I hung in there. It was an exhausting challenge, but we pulled through with love and caring and time. It worked out. My kids are just incredible kids. The wife said I needed a break to find myself, to just go and enjoy yourself. I raised $100,000, so I told her I was going to come to Las Vegas playing the World Series. I didn't expect to come here to win. I expected to come here to do well and play the best I could. Even if I was to win the bracelet, it wouldn't change my life. My happiness is far deeper than poker, but the experience, you can never take the experience away. The experience will be with you for a lifetime.
Padilla and I actually have a lot in common, Lon. He is an almond rancher. I am an almond eater.
Well, if you eat Blue Diamond almonds, he thanks you. He grows for them. Our chip leader is Brandon Cantu, followed by Lee Padilla, 800,000. The youngest player, Brent Roberts, right now is the short stack, and there is Brent.
Last year, Eric Froelich became the youngest to win a bracelet. Roberts trying to beat that mark.
Roberts and Cantu both fold. Over to Ruben.
He is a clinical psychologist, says there's nothing he can do to help me.
Gonna raise.
He's going to raise it up with his ace-4 from the small blind.
It's an additional 70.
He's going to make it 82,000 total. Over to Lee Padilla, ace-queen in the big blind.
Call.
And he's going to make the call, 58,000 more chips. And so Ruben and Padilla to the flop. The flop is 3 ace-6 all hearts. Both pair their ace, but Padilla has the better kicker. Ruben first to act.
100.
He's going to make it 100,000.
Ruben likes his ace, but as you mentioned, Padilla has a better ace.
Ruben's a player and a poker fan. You see autographs on the bill of his cap.
A re-raise.
And a re-raise from Padilla. So our Modesto almond farmer
Total 300.
makes it 300,000 now to Ruben.
And this would be for most of Drew Ruben's chips.
How does the doctor read this one?
Man, I think you got a heart draw.
Well, he's not reading it right. All the hearts out there are scaring him.
Man. All right. Cheers.
You're late on.
And he gives it up.
Ruben was bullied by Brandon Cantu earlier. This time he does make the right decision in laying it down.
So Lee Padilla picks up about 200,000 more chips.
Do you have an ace?
Dr. Drew doesn't seem satisfied at the moment, but indeed it was a great laydown, and Lee Padilla now pulls closer to the chip lead.
Brent Roberts is all in.
Back at the Rio, you hear Brent Roberts is putting his tournament life on the line. He's got pocket sevens.
King, Jack, 8 flop.
Brandon Cantu called him down with ace, queen off suit. Brent's posse trying to root their boy on.
Brent, a 21-year-old student at SUNY Binghamton.
And now the flop. Oh, and a queen puts Cantu into the lead. And suddenly elimination for Roberts is a very real possibility.
Well, Brent goes, what the heck? I can always fall back on my public school education.
And now the turn card. A jack, that's a blank for Roberts. One more shot at it.
Brent Roberts is going to need a 7 and a 7 only, or his bid to become the youngest bracelet winner ever is over.
River card is a king. Cantu wins the hand and knocks out the youngest player, Brent Roberts. Roberts goes out in 5th. Eric Froelich can rest easy. His record as the youngest bracelet winner is still intact. And Cantu picks up a lot more chips, now at 1.8 million.
And Brent gets consoled by his friends. He was a kid with a dream.
Well, Roberts goes over to his friends. Most of the players here at this final table have family or friends here to cheer them on, but Dr. Drew might top them all with the most unique pair of cheerleaders in the room.
I got here probably the way most people get here. They plop down their 1,500 and hope for the best. But I came here with a good feeling. I came here thinking I was going to do very well. My wife really did want to come, but I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old at home, and I actually asked her to stay home. I love my wife to death. You know, like most men out there, I've gotten a lot of crap, so to speak, from my wife about going out and playing, you know, being out late nights, and she's had to put up with me quite a bit. So I came here to town with my mother-in-law and my mother-in-law's sister, because those are the only 2 people I can get to come with me. They're degenerates, and they like to gamble, you know. I figure at this point, the best part about being here at the final table is I never have to listen to my wife say, don't go play poker, you're going to play poker again. I mean, that's all done with at this point. As soon as I get home, the first thing I'm doing is buying her a car. So I hope this provides some slack for some of those guys out there who are taking some of the same abuse from their wives for playing poker.
So Drew travels with his mother-in-law, but not his wife. Now they tell me, Lon.
You got that information a couple of marriages too late, eh?
Good for you.
All right, we continue here at the World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. The first of 41 bracelet events being held in a very busy Rio poker room. Officials have colored up the chips, replacing the yellow 1000s with a black and tan 10,000 chip. The hole cards of Lee Padilla, Queen 10. He has been creeping up on the chip lead, but Brandon Cantu distanced himself from the field with a big hand a moment ago. A raise to 60,000. Over to Mark Lee with pocket kings.
Both Mark and I play at Hollywood Park Casino in Los Angeles. He hangs out with a better crowd. You know, the winners.
You might raise.
He's going to raise it up. Mark said he was going to start this final table slowly and to get more aggressive as he moves forward, but kings are going to make him be very aggressive.
80,000? Oh, 80,000 more. Gotcha.
He raises it up to 120,000.
It's 120,000 total.
Mark's a pretty tight player. Brandon Cantu knows that.
And Brandon will fold his ace-10 to Lee Padilla now with a re-raise in front of him.
I'll re-raise.
And he is going to push.
Another 120.
He's going to raise the price 120,000 more.
Okay, I'm all in. Let's go.
And now Mark Lee is going to try to force Padilla all in.
Well, Cantu had made a good read, then Padilla made a lousy read. And now it would be for all his chips.
And Lee Padilla will fold. Wow. He looks like he got his hand caught in the cookie jar and gives away 300,000 chips to Mark Lee.
Maybe it's because you re-raised and ran away that scared him.
My job's already done. It's up to his decision to do whatever he's got to do, right?
And that was a 120,000 chip gift from Padilla at the end of the hand with Lee's final re-raise.
So a World Series gold bracelet and over $750,000 await tonight's winner of this no-limit tournament. Mark Lee looks at ace-10 offsuit.
I love Hollywood Park. Good dealers, nice people. They take my money with a smile.
Mark Lee used to own a nail salon in Southern California, gave it up to give the poker life a try. He raised it to 90,000. Cantu and Ruben fold. Now on Lee Padilla. Ace-3 of diamonds. And Padilla is going to move all in. A raise of 385,000 chips to Mark Lee.
And Padilla didn't have to push there. He still has enough chips to play poker. But this is no easy call for Mark Lee. Mark actually plays fairly conservatively.
This would be for about a third of Mark's chip stack. And he's moving chips. And Mark Lee makes the call. This is the degree all-in moment. Lee Padilla's tournament life at risk and a 2-1 underdog.
Nice call, man. Nice call.
Yeah, Mark Lee probably thought he'd be in a coin flip situation, but as it is, he has Padilla dominated. Padilla playing for his tournament life.
Now here comes our flop. Lee still leads with a deuce-5 jack out there. Padilla has a wheel draw.
Yeah, he picked up outs on me.
Padilla needs a 3, or now a 4 would make a straight.
Turn card is a 10, and Mark Lee pairs his 10. Padilla on his last leg.
Lee Padilla's going to have to make his straight. He's going to need a 4, or he is done.
River card. It's a 6. Mark Lee gets the degree check mark, knocking off Lee Padilla in 4th place. And the hard-working family man and farmer scores a bounty of almost $177,000. Mark Lee put a hurt on Padilla a short time ago and now closes the deal.
You winked at me.
What's that?
You winked at me.
So when he winked, did that mean you got to call?
Oh, so that made me call him.
If he doesn't wink, you lay it.
Padilla's wink has Lee all smiles.
The Degree All-In Moment is brought to you by Degree for Men. Protects men who take risks.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
You don't want to go out and get some cocktails after this or what? You know I'm down for that. He's all business, man. He's like, oh, well, he's got his own crew he's got to take care of.
I'm down for cocktails after.
You don't have to be so serious.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be serious.
It's only the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, and at the World Series, you'll discover that every player has their individual way of doing things, quirks, if you will. One player's ritual could easily be another player's pet peeve, as we find out in this week's edition of The Nuts.
I don't particularly like to see people eating at the table.
Secret banana in the pocket. See, that's my edge.
If you want to eat, go outside and eat. I don't like earphones at the table either.
Headphones? What?
That's a call?
Yeah. I guess if someone was singing the whole time, it would start to bug me.
I wanna know who let that dogs up.
Dancing Queen.
Have you ever seen the rain?
Sir, seriously, will you shut up?
The whining.
What are you going to do to win a pie?
It's incessant. They just have to stop.
Oh, well.
The amateur Hollywood move on you is so ridiculous.
They have nothing and they're pretending like they've got some hand that they have a real decision. Oh, God.
What are you doing? Just make a damn decision.
We know you have nothing. Throw it away.
I mean, who do they think they're kidding?
Why are you wasting our time? It drives me nuts.
It is amazing. Some people will take more time deciding on how to act on their hand than they will deciding on whether or not to get married, and people wonder why the divorce rate is so high.
There are 2 other tournaments going on in this very busy Rio poker room. Just 3 players left for the championship here at this final table.
By the way, if someone winks at me, I don't care who it is, I get a phone number.
Mark Lee folds. King 3 of diamonds for Brandon.
130.
130. I think the king was worth 100 and the 3 was worth the 30.
Very good math. I agree with you.
Drew Rubin, king 4. This should be worth more.
This is going to be 140, you're telling me?
Yeah. Cantu has been the one to force the action at this final table. Let's see how Rubin reacts.
I re-raise.
Wow, his king 4 is worth more. Rubin is going to re-raise.
Cantu got creative with his weak king, and now Rubin gets creative behind him with his weak king.
I call.
And Brandon makes a call, cost him $130,000 more.
You see more unusual play when you get down to shorthanded, and right now we have a couple of marginal holdings battling each other.
Now the flop, 3-7-9. Cantu pairs his 3 and gets a diamond draw.
All in.
And moves all in.
And of course that would push Drew Rubin all in if he calls this, and Drew Rubin does not have a callable hand.
Drew's mother-in-law praying he makes the right decision.
I'm praying I never have another mother-in-law.
Call me. Let's go. Call it. I want a call. I'm begging you for a call.
Well, Dr. Drew's giving us a little Hollywood here. Frankly, the dealer already should be shuffling up for the next hand.
You call, you go home.
Oh, suddenly he's Scotty Wynn in underwear.
That's a huge moment for Rubin. He'll give it up. And Cantu will add more than $250,000 chips to his stack.
Drew Rubin seems dazed, but he really had no choice mucking that.
You were way behind.
This Brandon Cantu is lazy and feisty.
And he is our chip leader. 3 players left fighting for the bracelet at this final table. Now action on Brandon Cantu as we continue. He's got pocket 8s.
Cantu says he plays on instinct.
100,000.
And his instincts have been terrific to get him through this field of 2,700.
Going to raise it up to 100,000. Rubin says he had to pinch himself last night when he was playing against Carlos Mortensen that he's actually here at the World Series up against a world champ. Rubin's got Jack 9 suited. They go into the muck. Over to Mark Lee. Ace Queen of hearts.
Make it 300.
He's going to re-raise to 300,000 now.
Lee's best game is Omaha high-low, but he's done quite well in his first World Series event ever.
Got a big hand, sir. Got a big hand.
Short-handed pocket 8s are a big hand.
Biggest one I've had in a while.
And please don't be afraid to play it.
I'm not. I call. Just because you said so.
Drew Rubin getting
I'm
involved.
trying to help you out, get you in the money.
Rubin out of line there. He should not influence the action by talking.
I'm not gonna lie, I got a big one.
And Cantu makes the call. So pretty much a coin flip. His 8s against the suited ace queen of Lee. 10-5 ace. Lee pairs his ace to get a firm grip on this hand.
Lee will be first to act.
300.
300,000.
The problem for Cantu, besides the fact that he's way behind in the hand, he knows how solid Mark Lee plays. So he knows Mark probably has a big hand.
800.
Wow. Cantu playing aggressively.
He's got a lot of pep in his step.
He does. He's done this before and done it successfully.
There's a lot of money in that pot. Wow.
I'm telling you, the doctor's got poor bedside manner here. He should not be saying anything. And Brandon Cantu just doesn't have ice water in his veins, Lon. He's got ice water from the Arctic Circle.
Putting a lot of pressure on Mark Lee.
Oh, good, huh?
These guys came into the hand with almost even stacks.
Flop that big?
See, Mark knows that Brandon knows that Mark is tight, so Mark has to wonder, how can Brandon come back over the top of me unless he's holding a monster?
Mark Lee does not want to give this up.
Good raise.
But indeed he will. Cantu takes a big pot with a bold move.
Cantu may be lazy, but he is motivated to take pots away from his opponents.
So very well played by the 25-year-old Brandon Cantu.
Made a good bluff. No, I was good, I guarantee it.
That's a flimsy guarantee.
Would you lay there? You tell me what you got, I tell you what I have. Me first? Ace Jack. You made a good raise. You laid down bigger than Ace Jack? I don't believe you. You made a good raise.
Brandon got inside Mark Lee's head, forced him to lay down the best hand, and Cantu pads his stack.
The World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light.
Back inside the Rio, in addition to our final table, there are 2 other tournaments underway and have brought out the likes of Daniel Negreanu looking to regain top World Series form, Also, Chris Jesus Ferguson, who always seems to make it deep in every tournament he enters. And Phil Ivey's here. Most consider him the best poker player on the planet.
This is a really, really big room, Lon, and you cannot find anybody in this room who's a better player than Phil Ivey.
But everybody here chasing the elusive World Series gold bracelet. Back at our final table, 3 players still in the hunt. From Florida, a clinical psychologist, Dr. Drew Rubin. Mark Lee, a pro poker player from Los Angeles. And from Las Vegas, Nevada, Brandon Cantu, 3 World Series rookies. Brandon with pocket 8s again.
100,000.
And Brandon's going to remain aggressive, makes it 100,000. Ace 6 offsuit for Drew Rubin.
Dr. Drew, as you know, didn't bring his wife, but says he called her 25 times last night.
Gonna re-raise.
He's going to re-raise it.
Make it an additional 100,000.
He's going to push. Make it 200,000 total. Another 100,000 for Cantu to call.
All in.
And that would put Drew Rubin all in. So Cantu remains hyper-aggressive.
And another good instinct from Cantu. And Rubin right now in a similar spot that we saw Lee Padilla in earlier. He's got enough chips to wait for a better spot.
Cantu supporters hoping that Drew Rubin will be their buddy's next victim.
I think I'm beat, but I want to gamble with you, dude.
Wow, and Rubin's going to make the call.
Rubin knew he might be in trouble. He is in trouble for his tournament life.
2-8.
Auntie and mother-in-law horrified to see that something like this could happen to their boy.
Come on, ace.
That's about his only hope.
Well, Brandon Cantu showing better social skills now. He's not badgering his opponent because of a questionable call.
Cantu in command. Rubin all in. His tournament life at stake. Here's the flop. Deuce 10-7. Cantu still leads.
That's right. Your daughter married him. Your daughter married him.
Oh, Brandon Cantu supporters trying to prop him up right now. He's in good shape.
He doesn't look like he's in good shape, but he is in command of this hand.
Rubin needs help right away.
That's right. Your daughter could have waited for a doctor. Oh, that's right. He is a doctor.
Rubin turns a nut flush draw.
Come on, one more spade now.
A lot more outs now for Rubin and the Rubinettes.
Well, Drew Rubin down to his last card. Brandon Cantu in control, a 3-1 favorite.
Both players seem uneasy.
Come on, put it down there.
Hold on, let me breathe. Hold on one second.
Rubin's going to need an ace or a spade or he is done.
River card now.
Put it down.
It's a jack.
Yeah.
Cantu wins the hand and knocks off Drew Rubin. But a well-deserved round of applause for the amateur poker playing Dr. Drew Rubin. He wins almost $227,000. Cantu gets that much stronger.
He's just buying his wife a car. He doesn't have to buy them a car too, does he?
I'm not sure about that, but I don't think he'll have much trouble getting out of the house for poker night anytime soon. And Cantu's posse going nuts. 2 World Series of Poker rookies fighting for the title. Mark Lee and Brandon Cantu going for the cash and the first of 41 bracelets at this year's World Series.
I will be really, really disappointed if I don't win, being chip leader coming into the final table.
I think my chance is good. I can be patient and wait for hands. After that, be aggressive.
You really meant that?
I'm confident in my skills.
Such a bad play.
Now I gotta go for the win.
I want a call. I'm begging you for a call.
The goal is to win the tournament. That's it.
I really don't have like a set strategy. I just kind of like feel the moment. I kind of go with my gut instinct.
All in.
The bracelet is good, but the money's better.
We continue this World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. The spoils of victory have been brought out. The cash and the World Series gold bracelet going to our winner. Heads up between Brandon Cantu, the 25-year-old retired skycap full-time couch slouch, and Mark Lee, 31 years old, a nose-to-the-grindstone kind of guy, both on the verge of a World Series title. Right now, Brandon has a chip advantage.
Earlier in this tournament, Cantu busted Greg Raymer, called it the highlight of his poker career. He says he made a horrible call that hit runner-runner flush to send Raymer home.
Cantu with ace-4 offsuit will make a raise to $140,000. Mark Lee with a king-3 and pretty much any high card in your hand is playable heads up, and he will make the call. Cantu with the advantage with that ace to the flop. 3-7-9. Lee pairs his 3, and he grabs the advantage.
And any pair on the flop in heads up is usually good news, but Lee does check.
Cantu checks behind him. And we go to the turn card. A 10, not what Cantu's looking for. Lee remains in the lead.
2 possible flush draws out there and a straight draw.
Lee checks again, as does Brandon Cantu. River card, a 7, and that misses Cantu. Lee gets the check mark.
Lee with 7s and 3s, 2 pair.
Reaching for chips finally. He's going to make it 200,000.
That's a relatively small bet.
I think I got the best hand.
I think Mark Lee has the best hand.
I think I've got the best hand. I call.
Oh, and Brandon's going to hate that.
Well, Brandon thought his ace high was good, obviously.
And Mark Lee will take the hand. Brandon says he's never read a book. Maybe he should start because he misread Mark Lee that time. And if he continues that pattern, his opponent will soon be wearing the gold bracelet.
The 2006 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and Harrah's Entertainment, home of the world's richest poker tournament.
Welcome back to the Rio and this $1,500 no-limit hold'em final table down to 2, and you see Mark Lee has actually taken the slimmest of leads over Brandon Cantu. Brandon's been the chip leader most of the day. On the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam, he's got ace-king.
140.
And he's going to raise it up to a total of 140,000.
Mark Lee plays closer to the vest than Brandon. The question is, will he be able to loosen up and beat Brandon at his own game?
Suited Jack 4, and he'll make the call. Brandon with the advantage going to the flop. Jack ace-6, a big flop for both. Cantu pairs his ace. Lee has Jack.
Cantu in the driver's seat with top pair, top kicker. Lee's going to check.
200.
Cantu will not check. 200,000 with his pair of aces. Now on Mark Lee. That middle pair. And he will make the call.
Well, Lee is hoping to catch Cantu over aggressive in the wrong spot. This would not be that spot.
Turn is a 7. Cantu tightening his grip on this hand. Again, Lee checks. Seems to worry Brandon.
Worry schmurry. This Cantu is 1 kg slacker.
450.
Just figuring out how much he wanted to bet. 450,000.
And he was figuring that out each time. He has upped the ante with each bet on each street.
Now big decision for Mark Lee.
Lee's got to decide how much he wants to invest in his pair of jacks.
Come on in.
Everything. Wow.
Almost everything. He has Brandon Cantu barely covered.
I call.
Oh, Brandon's going to call. And Brandon shows the aces in the lead.
Oh, come on.
A rare misstep for Mark Lee, and Brandon Cantu now inching closer to the bracelet.
It's up to the poker god now.
He's going to need some help from the poker gods to pull this one out of the fire.
Yeah, Lee needs a jack or a 4, and he would win this title. If he doesn't get the jack or a 4, Brandon Cantu will have just about every chip on this table.
So now the river card. A queen. And Brandon wins the hand. His posse thinks he's won the tournament.
Jason, if Brandon is swallowed up by the crowd, I believe Mark Lee will be declared the winner.
It's all over with.
Well, technically it's not over with. Brandon did double up and take almost all of Lee's chips, though.
Brandon says he plays poker because he's not good at anything else. He's pretty darn good at poker.
Just push it. You ain't got to stack it.
Indeed, most of the chips go to Brandon Cantu, and Mark Lee is now left with just those 2 chips.
How many times I got to double to get there?
If he doubles 8 times, he will take the chip lead, but frankly, I don't like his chances.
8 times, that's all, not bad. So the cards are already face up. Cantu leading with his queen 5 against the 10 deuce. Here we go to the flop. Ace 4-5. Brandon gets the only pair, and he's that much closer to winning.
Mark Lee does pick up a wheel draw, a gut shot wheel draw.
Turn card is a queen. 2 pair for Brandon. Now queen's up.
Mark Lee's going to need a 3 for his straight, or Brandon Cantu's our champion.
Now the river card, it's an 8, and that will end it. Brandon Cantu is a World Series of Poker champion.
Wow, the lazy guy overachieved.
And how about Mark Lee? Came oh so close, but finishes in second place. And Brandon Cantu wins the first bracelet event of 2006. It was a day of fireworks.
You call, you go home.
A flurry of all-ins.
I'm all in.
And verbal confrontations.
Got a big hand.
Don't be afraid to play it.
How could you put me in with King Jack?
But Brandon got himself off the couch and finds himself in the catbird seat here at the World Series of Poker.
How'd you make it through 2,700 players to win?
Sucked out a lot of times.
Well, you usually wake up at 5 or 6 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Any change now?
Might go to 6 or 7.
1 World Series bracelet awarded, many more to come. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Thanks for watching the World Series of Poker.
That's it.